Alright, good evening, everyone. A few of you. I got a old Pentium 1 sitting here under my desk that has been sorely neglected for a while. It's on the screen right now. It's one of my first retro machines that I actually bought and then just kind of tinker with for many years. So it's has a lot of outdated software on it and random stuff on here. You know, I've used it as a transfer device. I've had all kinds of random stuff on it, so it needs a reload. It's just full of junk, basically. I already copied everything off it that I wanted. I actually used to have I have, on a separate partition here, a ton of DOS games and everything. So I copied those off. So I have everything off that I need on this thing. I'm going to reload Windows 95, even though this is a P1, 200 megahertz. It could run Windows 98 just fine, but I like having a little bit of variety. So this one's going to run Windows 95. I have a Windows 98 machine sitting here as well, so it's, I don't think it's super fun to have multiple machines doing the exact same thing. We'll put Windows 95 on this guy with the Plus version, and OSR2 just has all the USB support baked in and everything as far as storage devices and connection. So as far as full specs on this machine, it is a P100, I keep saying it, P1 200 megahertz, has 96 megabytes of RAM. This is actually an old workstation that came from NASA, if you believe the eBay seller I bought it from a decade ago. Maybe he was lying, but doesn't really matter. It's a workstation class machine, basically, and it has a lot of expansion capabilities. So it's got a lot of ISO slots, a lot of PCI slots. It has a Matrix Mystique PCI video card, 4 meg. Worked pretty well. It's pretty good image quality. I'll keep it in there for now. This one lately actually has a Voodoo 2 card smacked in there, which is a little overkill for this machine, but it actually lets run Quake and all those early 3D effects titles really well. And then of course it has a ISA AW64 sound card, which is, there are better sound cards out there, I'm sure, and more advanced ones, but the AW64 gives such a fantastic compatibility between Windows and DOS that it kind of gives you the best of every world available. Beyond that, I think it has a 10 gig hard drive, and nothing else really exciting on it. It does have a network card. I actually networked on this guy now, which will be my main reload method once I get the machine up and running again. I'm going to connect it to my NAS, which this machine can then get to there right now. And I actually browse all my files and everything. So as soon as I can get a network card up, which I did put on here, and we're going to put that on a floppy and copy it over to network card drivers on this guy eventually here. Actually, I should do that first. I just need more floppies. There's never a floppy when you need one, but we'll deal with that after we get this guy going, because I can get to this NAS just fine. So the first thing we need to do is actually install, or we need a recovery disk created for Windows 95. You can actually do that. You could manually create a new boot disk with the format /s and everything, but if you actually go into add remove programs, you can actually create a startup disk. Yeah, that's not a bad idea to do the new builds with the software, you take the hard drive out and everything, but this is an old school actual hard drive in here, so there's no compact flash or SD card, and sometimes it's fun to just do it the old-fashioned way. But I have used cloning software and everything to install everything, put everything on the drive before. My last regular video I did, since the laptop I was working on had no CD-ROM drive or floppy drive on it, I actually had to take the hard drive out, put all the installation files on there, plug it back in, and boot it from there, and that worked just fine. So, but in this case here, we're going to take our trusty old little floppy, smack it in this guy, and create a recovery disk. Fine, need a CD. So, since I'm not a masochist, the box you see in front of you right here is the installation box for everything, for PCs without Windows, right? You can have everything, but it's the floppy version, and there's 20 floppies in there. So I don't want to spend all night doing that. It would take a very long time. So I actually do have the installation CD on the C drive. I like doing that when I build machines, just to, yep, that's fine. I like putting the OS CD content on the C drive. If you have the space, it's a lot more convenient to find a disk or keeping one around. you can just point it to the C drive and get all the extra files you need for anything. Usually, you know, in Windows 95 and 98, to install new features or anything, it's going to look for that CD almost immediately. So that makes it a lot nicer. Now it's got to wait for an actual floppy disk to do its thing. Preparing the files. So I did find from WinWorld PC, not sure if you can tell there, I wrote very nicely on here, Windows 95 OSR 2.5, the last version of Windows 95 basically. That they have available. So we'll be installing from that. But this machine it's been fun to have. I've used it for a lot of stuff, and it's fun too because I've learned more with DOS after having this machine. So when I messed around with DOS back in the day, I had a dual booting. You know, when it booted into Windows, or sorry, into DOS, and then I would start Windows from there. This machine, I never configured all that. It was just always kind of this hodgepodge. It's working. I have a floppy disk that I can boot for the game I need, and then I just threw it there, and then the floppy was lost, and then, like, what do I do with this machine again? So I'm using it now in the stream setup, and I want it to be kind of the Pentium machine that I use for streaming. So I want to reload it, get it all configured and good to go, so that I can just boot it up anytime. Because right now, I don't have, like, using, for example, Phil's Computer Labs, fantastic boot menu for DOS. I don't have that configured on this guy. It just gets you a standard DOS prompt. I don't have anything configured on it, so I have to have a floppy drive or floppy disk with the boot stuff on it. So I'm going to configure this thing end to end so I can boot whatever I want on it basically. But first we need to reload it because there's just so much junk on here. I don't even know what version of... I can't do anything while it's doing what it's doing. So I gotta wait for the floppy first. There's a lot of the CDs, originally, the OS installation disks. Yeah, it's just really slow. They weren't bootable. I think Windows 98 OEM disk is bootable, CD. I'm not sure if the Windows 95 one is. I'm not taking chances, so I'm just going to boot from floppy, and then install it from there. I can't really move the microphone down, but maybe you can hear the floppy disk is going nuts, so... Alright, that's created. We'll take a look at the... There we go. Yep, got everything on here. So really all we need is like fdisk and format and stuff like that, so nothing too complicated. But yeah, I have installed like random unzip utilities before 7-zip became kind of readily available. That's how old this machine is and how long it's kept around. I'm expecting the hard drive to go out at some point or another, since I've had the machine so long, but cross that bridge when we get there. I may take it out after we're all done and clone the hard drive just so I have a full backup when it's fully completed. But for now, we're going to restart. Not sure if you heard the classic Windows 95 shutdown sound there. It should automatically boot from floppy now. These Vectras had a nice little boot up splash screen here and everything, so... Alright, there we go. Boot from floppy. Make sure you can see it here. I need to... It's the endless curse of doing a VGA conversion here to HDMI to capture this, is the... change in resolutions always throws it off, so I gotta push the button. So if you watched my last stream, you saw me doing that a lot, so we may do that here as well. Alright, so now we can see the C drive is here. There's a whole bunch of games on there. There's no saves I need because I've just been messing around over time. So we're just gonna nuke it. We're just gonna get rid of it. So first we're going to destroy all the partitions on the C drive because it's split up into 2 partitions. So, but I think we should be able to create a new full partition. So there's 2 partitions here. One, yeah, I can see active FAT32. There we go. So we're going to delete partition. Is there any of those? Yeah. It's non-DOS partition. Gotta find a right. Let's see. I think it's extended. Cannot delete while logical one. Let's see. There we go. Yep, not D. Yes. Oh, D. Yes. Bye-bye. Drive deleted. Alright, no logical disk defined, so... it's a lot of hoops here just to, since I had to set up in kind of a weird fashion. Yep, I want to, here we go, extended DOS partition deleted. I think it has a 20 gig hard drive in here actually, and that's probably why it was split up, so. Delete primary, yes. Yep, here we go. So now if we look at display partition, there's nothing there, so. Yeah, I believe it. Disk label, no disk. There was, I seem to recall that, yeah, there was nothing in there. Alright, so we're going to create a primary DOS partition. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I guess if, that's pretty quick. Sometimes these things can take, especially on the old school stuff, you know, it can take forever to do formats. I'm hoping it's going to be pretty quick. I was going to sit here for an hour watching the format happening. So I said, it's going to be a lot of progress bars. Yep. Well, the drive integrity is pretty quick. I hear the hard drive spinning around. This machine has never had any problem with speed. I mean, this is the original hard drive to my knowledge, and it's been a trooper the whole time. When I copied everything off this machine using, I got to restart the machine before I can format it, so it won't detect the new partitions if you don't restart. When I copied everything off, the NIC in here is a 10 megabit, which, I mean, it's fine for the time, but copying at the time then a 2 gig of, like, old games and files took several hours, so that's why I didn't do that live on the stream. I copied it ahead of time, so I wouldn't have to sit there and watch that, because, you know, it'll be 3 hours of progress bars and nothing else. It was funny, because the estimate, you know, time completion for the copy went from, like, 6 minutes to, it was, like, 560,000 minutes or something like that, and it never really went down either, so. There we go. Alright, now let's do, I can't there's a quick one, right? Yeah, there are formats. Format quick. So format C Q. I don't need to do a full low-level format. The partition's already gone, so. Unconditional format. Yep. There we go. It's moving along. 1%. It might be here for a while. Just part of the experience, so. It's actually going quicker than I thought, so. I'm going to show a little bit the box here. With the Windows 95 installation, which is the floppy version. Someone gave this to me. I found that if you like old hardware, tell friends, coworkers that you like old stuff, and sure enough, stuff starts showing up, because they want to get rid of stuff and they just throw it away, and then they're like, a coworker recently told me, I need to throw this away. No, he can throw it away for me, so then he just gave me all the stuff to throw it away, and then of course some of it kept. But that's just how you get a hold of a lot of old stuff, so we'll explore what's in this box here. There, you can look at the cardboard box, very exciting. So we have, let's see, here's the boot disk. So here's the first 5 floppies. So this would be the boot disk, the setup disk, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first stash. And they implore you on every one of these to register, so. Let's see, this is, yeah, disk 1 setup. Microsoft Internet Explorer for Windows 95 on 4 floppies. So, IE, since that's obviously required. How would you surf cyberspace without it? And here we just have Windows 95, disk 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's a lot of floppies. And every single one of these says, you're important to us. Register today. We'd like to know where you live so we can send you more stuff. So you can buy more stuff from us. And this is disk 10, 11, 12, and 13. So this is a lot of floppies. I think this is the original release of Windows 95, because based on the documentation that's in here, looks like welcome to, you know, a new world, Windows 95, whatever. See if I can put this up here so you have something to look at. Look at that. Alright, we're already a quarter of the way. We got our certificate of authenticity. No one copied this key here. I'm sure you could freeze frame and see it. And apparently they never actually opened the seal on their Internet Explorer Starter Kit. So I guess they weren't that excited about Internet Explorer, or they downloaded it. And we have the actual registration card. It was never filled out, so I guess they never registered their Windows 95. That's too bad. Guess I can try to register it now. Pretty old. We have an America Online pamphlet, because that's a thing, featuring Microsoft Internet Explorer, introducing America Online for Windows 95. And sadly, since I didn't grow up in America, I never got to experience America Online and in all its glory. I've heard many, many fantastic stories about it. So, and this is back when they shipped manuals. So here is the Beginner's Guide to Internet Explorer, and it's pretty hefty actually. This is just the manual for Internet Explorer, and let's see, it's got a lot of stuff in here. Welcome, Internet Explorer Starter Kit. Why explore the internet? Yeah, what do you want to do with that? I mean, what's the point? Most people come to the internet out of sheer curiosity. Maybe you've heard the hype, read a newspaper article, or heard about it from friends or coworkers. Whatever your reason for connecting to the internet, rest assured you're not alone. The World Wide Web, all capitalized, the internet's most popular branch, known simply as the web. This is all very interesting information. Yeah, there's a lot of just, you think back to this era, and I'm sure several of the people on here remember this era when this was new. The internet was brand new. Well, the internet itself was not technically brand new, but the experience of having a computer that could go online and get information was something brand new. And a lot of people had no clue really what to do. They didn't know about email or the browser or search bars, or no, there weren't any search bars until later. But like finding anything, printing a web page, saving internet text, personalizing your internet experience. Yeah, let's go through just like line by line. Mastering the internet. And of course, it's a little basic clip art guy here of the globe with a hat on there, because of course it was. We're halfway through the format. We're getting there. Protecting your privacy. Some security warnings here, and people still don't follow best practice on internet. It seems like get infected all the time. So then we actually have introducing Windows 95, the actual manual itself, which again is pretty hefty. Now, of course, this is an operating system, but I kind of missed the days of having thick, nice manuals in games. And it's not like you can buy I don't even know these days, buy a box copy of Windows 10 or anything. It's probably just a license key and a little thing you download or activate. It's not like it's going to have a thick box anymore. So this has introduction to Windows 95, basics, and they used this kind of clip art style extensively right back in the day. That was kind of their design language. So yeah, there was a lot more text on screen, that's for sure. They put a lot more junk on there, but compared to today, I mean, yeah, Windows 10 is a pretty good operating system, right? It's pretty streamlined, so there was a lot more like reading, and a lot of time you have to like really deal with, again, computer literacy. But it's pretty funny too, because here's the actual like what's on your screen. Like here's the start menu. How does the start menu work? Because remember, Windows 95 was the first one with the start menu, and I made a big deal about that. The AST I had, I came preloaded with Windows 95, which my first Windows 95 experience. AST shipped it with what they call, I think, the dot, which is a little blue button that you can click, and it was like kind of a shortcut to get to different software. But they put in a whole bunch of like instructional videos on how to use Windows 95 in there too. I thought those were just so cool, and I watched a lot of them. But they had like two little helpful guides popping up in a little video clip that was like this large, super compressed, so you can learn about Windows 95 and the amazing world of computing, back then as it existed. Windows 95 was kind of an eye-opener for me too, because multitasking was in Windows 3.11, the machine I had before that. But compared to Windows 95, nothing. Windows 95 really made multitasking actually usable. Of course, yeah, long file names came in to say, here's what's new in Windows 95, right? New improved interface. Windows now features a start button and taskbar, so that was a big thing. Windows Explorer, a powerful way to browse through and manage your files. Didn't really exist in the same format in 3.11, right? Long file names, you were not limited to 8.3 to name your files. Improved game and multimedia support. Yep, there was, games in Windows 95 feels like it kind of took off then. Of course, before that, games in Windows was more like point-and-click games, it feels like, or like educational titles a lot of the time. There was plenty of games in Windows 3.11, but since it coexisted with DOS, most games were written for DOS, at least as I recall, because it was more efficient. Windows 95, eventually, when the programmers figured it out, feel like there was just an explosion of games that were compatible with Windows 95 directly. Plug-and-play hard compatibility, it was a big thing. Plugged in anything, and it found it, and connected it, and, you know, if you had a driver, you're good to go. 3.11 wasn't nearly as kind on that side, and especially DOS then. You know, there was some plug-and-play stuff, but you pretty much were loading drivers manually. 32-bit preemptive multitasking. Windows now lets you use many programs at once. Do more in less time. Problem is the computer keeps getting more and more advanced. We ask it to do more and more and more. So, you know, your experience now is more advanced on a modern computer, but you're still, you know, doing kind of similar things if you want to go that far. But Microsoft Exchange. Use Microsoft Exchange to view and work with all types of electronic communications, including emails and faxes. Yep, e-faxes were a thing. My both my 486 and my Pentium that I got later, the Windows 95 machine, came preloaded with fax software. And I think I tried it one time. Yeah, you plug it in, and you know it took over the phone line basically, and you could use it as an answering machine and a faxing thing. And it was a big deal to be like this all-in-one. You're invested in a computer. It's going to be the focus of, or the center of attention in your home. Do anything. The Microsoft Network, capitalized. You can use this new, affordable, and easy-to-use online service to communicate with people worldwide using email, bulletin boards, and the internet. Yeah, there's kind of a riot reading through all this stuff because again, it was brand new computing in general, so they had to account for that a lot of time when they're doing these manuals. Not just that, hey, here's how you use this computer. It's like how to use a computer, starting, quitting a program, getting help. All right, yeah, we don't need a volume label. There you go. We have one drive that's 20 gig. So now we are going to install Windows 95, B, OS R2, whatever the heck the version is. So I think I popped a disk in already. If I didn't, is it E? Oh, I probably don't have CD support right now. That's a problem, isn't it? Let's see. So I never copy that. I don't have AutoExec BAT on here either. So right, we have another computer we can use for that to get around that. So let's see. I'm going to boot up another machine here. Yeah, because there you go. That's kind of part of the thing, right? Doing all this stuff. So I forgot that. Yeah, we don't have our CD-ROM driver loaded at all. So right now, we got A drive, and that's about it, and C drive. There's nothing on here. What we can do is copy everything on the floppy back to the C drive so we can actually boot from it, so that way we don't need floppy anymore. So we can do that's not really going to work either. Well, we can do yeah, we can do format quick with the system file. So let's do this. Format C Q S. So you got to think ahead, which I didn't. That's what I used to do. I've been working with newer machines like Windows 98 and XP and everything. I was like, oh yeah, we don't have a CD-ROM driver loaded yet, so that's a problem. Whoops. Let's see, but let's do a quick format. There we go. This should be a lot quicker now with the quick format. It's not, wiping the drive anymore. It's just writing it real quick. So now we should have the. Yeah, that's true. I should use a Windows 98 startup disk. So what I might do is create the Windows 98 startup disk. I'm hopping to my Windows 8 machine now, so we can actually do this here. Let's see. I have that connected on. I'll pop this floppy out. We don't need it anymore. It's been so long since I used Windows 95 to reload a machine, so it's all a learning experience for all of us here. So let's see. That's right. We're going to do this. Let me reconfigure my capture quick here. Look at that. This is our Windows 98 desktop. So I kind of jury-rigged Oh yeah, that's true. I haven't really messed with the Gotek floppy emulator. I used it for my Amiga, but I haven't really used it for my um, PCs really yet. So I just have so many machines, and with the network going here, I can like plug in something to one machine and share it to the other one and things like that. So swap over the audio too in case we have anything. But so now I can actually create a Windows 98 boot disk here from here. I think you do it from the same place, right? Yep, startup disk. So we will create a Windows 98 boot up disk. So I have it on. I think I put that here as well. Windows 98 CD. There we go. Fine. I think it's Win98. There we go. It's all part of the experience, right? Of going back and forth like this. It's like I don't think I've ever had anything go like 100% smooth reloading machines like this. I guess the old Windows 98 desktop too, which has a lot more games and junk on it. So. Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember. That's a good point there, Ted, to use a Windows 98 floppy boot up disk, because I don't remember the last time I used a Windows 95 one. I always had the 98 ones laying around. I think I even have an original one sitting here somewhere, believe it or not, but I didn't prepare enough. So we'll give this a shot, but that's what I found now, messing with these old machines so much lately. Having multiple machines available, like I was burning the Windows 95 CD, and my modern computer that I'm capturing with here now does not have a CD drive at all. And I've used like random like USB connected ones. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna burn it from the XP machine. So I was like, copy the ISO over to the XP machine, install image burn, and then burn it from there. Having the flexibility of hopping machines makes it easier to keep these things alive, honestly. And I'm hoping to cover like the network the way I have it set up as well on a future actual video. Because I actually connected, I have Windows 98, XP, and then of course 95. The 46 that's sitting here as well is network connected, and being able to copy files that way without running with USB drives or 14 floppies for your games, things like that. Of course CD-ROMs exist, but burning a disk every time was kind of getting tiring. So as long as I can get network connection, then I can copy whatever else I need from there, especially games, ISOs, things like that. There we go. It's doing its thing. This machine it's on now, I haven't really featured it yet, but it's a much faster than a Windows 8 machine would need. I used it for capture since it has DVI out, so I can capture a little cleaner signal. You may notice that it's screening out a lot brighter. It's not calibrated right now, but the capture on this is actually digital all the way. Instead of having a VGA to HDMI conversion process going, it's DVI to HDMI and then captured. Actually back to DVI, but it's beside the point. It's digital the whole way, so you don't have to worry about the rescaling and everything happening. The capture component device I have supports the old DOS resolutions with a custom firmware, but it lets you have a cleaner signal the whole way. So I use that for when I'm capturing for videos and everything. But it's also my standby, as we just saw. I need something Windows 98. Well, I'm just going to pop on there real quick. So, all right. Pop those back in here into our other machine, and we'll swap over the capture. You apparently noticed that the color changed a little bit, so yeah, sure, could do that as well. I have a Windows 98 SCCD here. You know what? My eternal failure. I keep like creating Windows 98 CDs, and then I never label them. I know I have several, probably some are labeled, but good grief if I don't, like, when I reload it every, like, few months or something like that, I don't actually label them, and then I'm, whoops. Let's see, I think I need to swap this over here as well. Yeah, we're back. See, this is kind of part of this experience here. Will be this full, like, on the fly reload of this machine. Come on, autoconfig, do your thing. There we go. All right, we have the Windows 98 SE boot disk in here, so we're going to do Control-Delete. And then we're going to see if we get some CD action going here. Start Windows 98. There we go. With CD-ROM support, please. All right, Oak Technology, classic. Is normally when you're doing this kind of thing, you know, you're not broadcasting it, so you have plenty of time to figure out the issues and go back and forth and like, I'm going to copy this, oh shoot, I forgot this, and now I get to see the raw, unfiltered experience. But hey, hopefully you're here because you enjoy that kind of stuff. Just have it on the background, just listen to someone ramble about their old computer not working. Alright, we should be hopefully be able to get to the CD-ROM drive now and go ahead and load this machine up. This may take a few minutes. It sure does because it's a floppy drive and it's not fast. Just doing his thing. Okay, there we go. E drive is our CD-ROM drive. So, if you look now, did I actually put in the disk? I did not. That probably would help. That probably would help, don't you think? Again, I'm not going to load this from the 14 or 15 floppies I have sitting here, so. Retry, please. Look at that. Set up. Yep, do your check, why not? Yeah, thanks, Ted. I noticed that it's really slow, and I haven't live streamed that much, as you guys probably have seen. I mean, I'm not a seasoned live streamer. I started doing it, and still trying to figure out the best way to, like, notify, post it everywhere, because, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking to, like, oh, I want, like, 400 people in here, but it's fun to have a few people to chat with as I'm doing it. But I also don't know what the best process is as far as, like, you know, saying it will be scheduled at a later time, you know, things like that. And notifications always are a little tricky on how that works, so. Alright, we're in the Windows 95 setup, so here we go. It's a classic one, if anything. The natural keyboard depicted back here, I did have that, and sadly I don't have it anymore. I kind of miss it. It was really, it wasn't that great to type on for me anyway. I didn't like it, especially the arrow keys were really malformed, but yep, we'll accept the license agreement. But it, you know, I thought it was really cool, so. Collect the information about your computer. Yep, we'll install it to Windows. Check and install components. There's nothing. It would normally check then to see if you're doing an upgrade. We're not doing an upgrade. So you can customize what's installed. We have a really big hard drive, so I'm going to go through. I actually need the license key. 1 second. I did have it a second ago. Don't worry, this is from WinWorld PC that I downloaded this, so it's a great site to get that kind of information, or just getting old systems, operating systems, I should say, software. 7, 6. There, has to be right, because it's super important. Sure, we can look for all hardware devices. Now, I don't know what it's going to find. Or not, so we'll see here. This is the... Yeah, there you go. Laugh all you want. So, we do have that. Let's see if it finds it. This is the later version of Windows 95, then basically the last, like, official boxed version, right? And now we're going to have a lot of, like, screen flipping because it's detecting things. So we'll see what it finds. I said it's got a 3-com Excel. I wrote down all of the the specs in a text file before I did it, just so that I would know what components are in there without cracking the case, because I'm sure if you ever reloaded an old computer, often you have to crack the case to see what the heck is in there to find the right driver and everything. So in this case, I did write down from the device manager what's in there. So I should know what I have. And really, as soon as I can get the network connection going, then I can copy things between the different machines, like the Windows 98 and my modern machine can hop there. And the way I did that, and again, I'm hoping to cover this in an actual video, my Windows 10 machine has 2 network cards on it. So what I did was I connected one to my retro network, which is just an old router that's presenting IP addresses to my retro network. And my Windows 10 machine has one network card attached to that network, and one to the real network that lets me use my normal computer with internet and everything. I don't have a gateway set on the retro network, which means that it cannot route outside of that network, so nothing can get out. So every gateway is blank on network setup. So it literally is not going to go anywhere. That lets me have a contained network that's all connected to TCP/IP and everything, so I don't have to worry about if I'm going to play network games together or LAN games. I just plug in a machine to my retro network. If it has TCP/IP on it, just connect it, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's true. This one comes with the Plus pack. Should have it. So we'll see here. We're going to install some more junk. Games, of course you need games. And we have plenty of space, so we're going to install a lot of the extras here. Oh yeah, we need all the screensavers, obviously. All of them, please. Yeah, we'll do the Windows 95 Tor, why not? See, I said 98 just by the direct cable connection, that's fine. I may use a null modem cable at some point, just because I can, and it's fun. I used to have 2 computers. Oh yeah, we need all this stuff. All of it. All of it, I say. No, not Windows messaging, forget that. I don't need to send emails. There we go. Look at that, it did actually find the network card, so that's really encouraging. We do need the... Let's see, we need to add protocol, Microsoft, TCP/IP. That's really cool that it found it. We're going to log in from Microsoft Networks, and I'm going to enable file and printer sharing. Wow, I found it all right away, so I'm very creative. I keep it as work group, so because, reasons. We are going to do, let's see, I'll just call it Vectra for now. And then do next. Yep, Super VGA, why not? Unknown monitor, that's to be expected. I found quite a lot. No, I don't need a startup disk. We've already been through this exercise. Alright, now we're copying everything to the C drive. Well, it's pretty smooth, so we'll see if it continues that way or not. Make sure the capture's going right, yep. So like I said, there's a lot of progress bars just waiting along. Well, now you get to see all the cool splash screens in Windows 95 again, because there's not a lot of reasons to install Windows 95, really. I mean, all of this stuff Windows 98 can do and really better. Has better driver support, long-term stuff, and games might be better supported. Windows 95 isn't exactly like a powerhouse in that sense, but I think it's a cool piece of operating system since I used it myself a lot. That's kind of where I learned to use a lot of my computing skills, because I had a 406 before it, mostly using DOS on that for playing DOS games, but then Windows 95 of course opened up a whole new world. And the Windows 95 ASD I had is the one it's the same model as the one I featured in another video. I can't remember, it was called 812 in Scandinavia, but here it's the 822. I can't remember now even. I made a video on it, but yeah, that was my first Windows 95 experience, and it's weird because I think it was something with the video card on that machine or drivers. I just wasn't skilled enough to deal with it. It would crash all the flipping time. I mean, like several times a day, and I just rebooted and I just kept on trucking. I play a game, and if I didn't save often enough, and I lost my saves, and I didn't really have internet yet, so I couldn't download any new software for it. And AST in Scandinavia wasn't very big, so they didn't really have any support there per se. So yeah, that was pretty much it, the end of it. So it's flying along quite well. It's like, again, this is a, as I said, is a workstation grade machine, right? It's the tower. I can try and move the camera so you can actually see the machine itself. I'm not sure if it's going to be too dark here, but there's the guy. So this is the HP Vectra VL5, and yes, it needs retrowriting badly. But it has an interesting layout because it's got the drive bays at the bottom here. You can see it's just spinning away right now, trying to get everything done right. And you can see an old asset tag there for the retrobrite, or the not retrobrite, but the yellowing from the rest of the case. And that's actually gotten worse in the last few years, even though it doesn't sit next to a window. We can see also the hard drive light is integrated into the power button, which is pretty neat. So it's a sturdy machine. It weighs a ton. I mean, it's like made of steel, basically. But that was a lot of the, especially the workstation spec machines back in the day, were very heavy duty because they were intended to survive a lot of punishment in the workplace. There, so you can see the whole logo. Much better. But it's a sturdy machine, and it's got a lot of room inside for expansions and everything. So when I bought this machine, I actually found it off eBay because I was just getting back into retro PC stuff, and I wanted to find a machine. I couldn't find anything local, so I want a machine I can grow with. So I found one on eBay, and it wasn't super cheap. And shipping was expensive because it's so heavy, but it was listed as a previous NASA workstation. I mean, not necessarily for the rocket stuff, but just at the NASA, wherever it was, doing some calculations, or just for regular workstation stuff. And it's, I mean, I put the Matrox Mystique card in because I heard back then it was one of the better image quality ones, and it wasn't very expensive to get back then because we're talking mid 2000s, so 2006, 2007 maybe. So it wasn't expensive yet. Retro hadn't balloon or exploded, so it was easier to find components. People were just throwing them out, which some people still do, but it's a lot easier to find good quality stuff then. So I still had my Voodoo 1 card, my Orchid 4 meg Voodoo card, so that went into this machine. I still had my original Sound Blaster AW64, which is what's in here now. Alright, I need to pop that floppy. I don't want the floppy in there, because then it's not going to be so good. Finish setting up Windows 95. Alright, we're going to reboot again. Yeah, they were built to last, so... Yeah, I'm going to explore Windows ME as well, because I used it, and I don't really have any complaints about it when I used it. It served its purpose for its time. Asking about Vista, I'm yeah, that was kind of a misstep marks up, but ME never had the problems that a lot of people did, so I have some fond memories of using it, so I'll probably explore it again with another machine. I mean, I got enough computers laying around to do it, so it might be a fun thing to do. The biggest drawback there, of course, lacking proper DOS mode. A machine like this with 95 or 98, you get a lot of flexibility being able to boot into raw DOS and be able to run DOS games. So if you have a ISA sound card, for example, you have a really good DOS gaming machine at that point, right? Yeah, you won't be able to play the speed-sensitive games on a machine like this, but this will run, your Duke Nukem 3D just phenomenally well. More of the high-end graphical settings on those. It's doing its thing. Yay, starting Windows 95. Get around it to run Windows 95 for the first time. Feels like the very first time. No. I wonder what the actual resolution of that image is. I mean, it's stretched out to all hell and back, but... There, my new password is blank. No one write that down. Alright, we'll see what it finds here. Now, I'm really curious to see. It's probably going to start spitting out a lot of the, Voodoo card is kind of given that it's not going to have any drivers for, but it might have drivers for the Matrox and things like that. This is the later Windows 95 release then. The original one certainly would have had horrible driver support, but this one might have some stuff. It might also freeze up, because that was the thing back then with Windows 95 plug and play. It froze up a lot and crashed when it was trying to detect drivers and devices and everything, so we'll see what happens, But again, the weird thing with this machine, I'm really impressed with how speedy it is, because again, this is an original hard drive, right? It's looking for the floppy drive there. Alright, I am in the Central Time Zone. There we go. It's currently accurate time. So there we go. Daylight saving, I think, is tonight. You must install a printer before you can print from Windows. I don't want to install a printer. Whoa. Hopefully everyone heard that. Got the right, sorry, we got the right audio input. Audio input selected. Alright, let's restart again. See, did that come through? The sound there? I didn't catch it in time. Alright, Charles. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you're right, Ted, for, you know, if you're doing Windows 98 stuff exclusively and not really messing with DOS or anything, ME, I think it's fully capable, and I mean, they patched it a lot later, too. But yeah. Oh, you ran DOSBox on the ME machine? I guess that will do it, yeah. I guess they were powerful enough since, you know, like the 98 machine I showed her earlier. I think you can hear that. It's probably hopefully not too loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. That's a classic sound. There we go. There is the internet. So let's see what we have now on this machine. What did it find? What did it not find? So we're up and running. Network adapter was found. Nope, dial-up adapter. Never mind. Standard VGA adapter is kind of expected. I think one thing. Yeah, we need to enable DMA. We want some speed here. Probably have to reboot. Yep. This is Windows 95. We're going to reboot dang it for every single thing. And do well, Charles. Thanks for asking. Just hanging out here, talking about my old computer here. If you didn't join me from the beginning, this is a HP Vectra VL, 200 megahertz, Pentium 1. And it's kind of like a retro machine I've had for a long time. And it's also one of those like eternal projects. I work with it, I mess with it. So hopefully you guys heard that glorious startup sound in Windows 95 there. Messed with it for a long time. It kind of had a lot of junk on the hard drive and software, different kinds. It never got a good installation, so I just ended up needed to wipe it basically to start over. So right now, I'm not going to operate it on the stream tonight. This machine is fairly beefy already, so if you didn't catch, yeah, that was pretty quick there. If you didn't catch the beginning, and that's a tip as well that I learned from watching other videos, don't forget to enable DMA mode. If the hardware supports it, DMA will speed up disk read and writes dramatically on Windows 95 and 98, so never forget that. And also, this is a fresh load. There is nothing on it right yet, so there's nothing else in the startup, so that was very quick, obviously. So did not find a network adapter. Yep, PCI Ethernet controller, so I will have to copy the drivers, the 3COM drivers. Once I get that, I can copy everything else on here. Look at that, it did find Creative Labs, SoundLabs 16, or AW32. Not anything more than that, obviously, but it did find well, clearly the sound's working, though. But yeah, this is a really good hard disk in here. I'm a little surprised it's survived this long, but it looks like it's a generic ID disk. Sure. I don't know exactly what type it is, but it is the original one that came with the machine. So it's held up a very long time, but I think it's just, again, this is a workstation spec machine. So while the Vectra I have on my desk here, Vectra 486, which I was streaming the other night, is also Vectra series. This is the workstation grade machine, and it's quite beefy. But yeah, we got 96 meg of RAM, so Windows 98 is an option for sure. This machine is more than capable of doing that. I have other Windows 90 machines, so this is kind of a nostalgic thing for me. I wanted to run Windows 95 just because I could. So under the desk here now, all connected through a KVM, so I can stream them easily. I do have this machine, being the Windows 95 Pentium era machine. I have a 486 DOS 311 Windows 311 era machine. I have a Pentium 3 Windows 98 SE era machine, and I have a P4 XP era machine, all connected to KVM, so I can switch them on the fly basically for streaming purposes. And that covers pretty broad spectra there. I have other 286s and Tandys and stuff. They're not part of that loop, but for what I would stream or capture, probably going to be caught by the stretch of 66 megahertz to what this P4 I think is. I wrote on it what it is. It's a 2.26 gigahertz. So then I have a very broad spectra there of any retro stuff I do right. Yep, that's the hard drive. It's rocket fast. Hopefully it doesn't take off. So what we need to do now is we need the 3COM drivers, and I believe 3COM produced like a floppy disk, whatever, that had a ton of just stuff on it that included every 3COM driver basically, which is what we're lacking. We can't connect it to the network yet. So we're going to switch back to the Windows 98 machine and copy that over. I'm going to use the same floppy because it's getting a workout tonight. So let's hop over. Let's see. That should kick in there. There we go. So we're back to Windows 98. So this is the... I could go to the internet and get it. So what I'm doing now, I have the driver. So if you have joining us late here now, so I have a little retro network here. It's a NAS on network I have. So I've downloaded most of the drivers, or I copied things off. So what I'm going to do now is basically use that as my file copy process, or using my Windows 98 machine to get the data off. So I am going to, I think I put a shortcut on the desktop. There it is. Oh, I forgot one thing. I actually don't have that because I only have one Ethernet cable plugged in right now. I have a larger switch coming in. So please stand by while I crawl behind a desk and reconnect the network cable. See, it's all live. It's exciting. On the fly. There we go. So I got this machine connected again now. As said, I have limited space on the switch I have under my desk here, and I ordered a larger one that should be here pretty soon. Then I shouldn't have to do this anymore. But right now I have like one cable I'm hopping between the machines because I don't switch machines that often. So we'll try that again. See if it got a... I don't think I have an internet connection yet, or a network connection. We have to restart this guy, but oops. See, I'm so used to new machines now, but we actually have to go to ms-dos prompt. That's right, renew. We're going to try and renew address. There we go. Pulled in an IP address from my little router I got in there. Yeah, there's a cat crawling around here. I think it's her feeding time, so she can wait. She's got plenty of girth. She doesn't need the food right away. So I'm now on my NAS that sits on my little retro network, and I actually have a lot of drivers. Like what I'm doing is as I'm building machines. Yes, it can run solitaire, but my cat can't. What as I do is I find drivers. If you're hopping machines often like I do, you're like, oh shoot, this utility was pretty cool. And then you forget about it, and 6 months later, shoot, what was that utility? So what I do then is I basically am filling up my little retro network here with tools, utilities, things that you need a lot of time, your DirectX, etc. So that's what I drop on there. So we have the network here, network information, and these are the 3COM driver disks. So I think they are, yeah, so we're going to, I really should find another floppy here. Never leave home without additional floppies. That way I don't have to use the same disk here. So we're going to open up this guy here. Sorry, we'll regenerate a new Windows 98 boot disk if we need it, but for now we're just going to wipe it. I need the corpse of this floppy. I'm not sure what the max memory is on that guy. So it came with 96 meg installed, which leads me to believe they stretched it out as long as they could before they abandoned it. So I mean, it's got to be 128 or even more. I don't remember how many slots it has in it, sadly. So I'm going to copy the first one over here. So this is the 3COM bundle compilation executable that has drivers for most 3COM cards of that era. So hopefully it should work. If not, then I wrote down what model it is. So we can actually look at that because I put that on the temp here so I knew what it was. There we go. It lets me open that. We're just going to freeze up all the copy happening. Let's get to listen to the floppy doing its thing. So yeah, I wrote down exactly what model it was because I don't want to have to crack the case just to look at what it was, right? So I know it's a matrix mistake and everything. So, and I have drivers for most of that on this NAS here. All right, so we have that. We're going to swap the floppy. pop that in the other guy so we can get ready to copy, and then we're going to pop in a new floppy here. Refresh that. Should be empty. There we go. We're going to copy this file over. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it might be. I'm guessing 128 or something, and I'm trying to remember the stick configuration 96, but it's funny because sometimes you run too much RAM and it can be a problem. I know. I mean, Windows 98 is one thing. You get really high up, multiple gigs, right? It doesn't like that. 256 or 512 is more than enough for Windows 98. I don't remember on DOS or anything like that, there's any limitation there of just having it installed. I mean, yes, accessing it is going to be a problem, but if there's any problem to have that much, but, you know, how often do you have a machine of that caliber with that much memory? That's pretty unlikely. So, all right, we got 2 floppies. We're going to switch over again. And I need to switch over my capture. And the reason I got to actually switch the, yeah, look it up. I'm curious. So this is a, if you're wondering, it's I'll put it in the chat here, but it's a, let's see if I can find my mouse. That's the actual full specs. Oh yeah, 96 is more than plenty, and it's like, I never mess with it because it's so much. 32 would have been fine in this machine, what I use it for as well. You don't need that much, but the reason I have to actually switch to capture, not use the KVM, is that 98 machine captures through DVI, so I have to switch to input on my actual capture card, but this is cat number 2. She's really hungry, apparently. She's going to die of starvation, I promise you. Alright, so let's take a look at the C drive here now, or the A drive, which is the floppy. We are going to probably copy the CD-ROM contents as well, because I'd like to have that. So what I'll probably do is I will create a new folder called drivers. I like to do that just so I keep things tidy. Oh goodness, I have the new window opens every time. Yeah, 256 I think is probably not a bad total amount. So right, network. Yeah, 8 meg. It's there you go. Oh yeah, recommended. I'm gonna go 96 because it gives me nothing, and I feel good about it. We're gonna have to switch over the opening in. There we go. I can't handle the. That's just too retro for me to have a new window open up. That's more of a Windows 3.1 thing to me. There we go. So we're going to copy. We are going to copy that floppy. But the other thing is, like, as other machines have had problems, I've had multiple machines that have some random issues and everything. This machine has been just a trooper. Like, besides me just misconfiguring it, it's, you know, held up like a tank. I mean, physically and everything. Yeah, it's got a little patina on it from the age, but it's just taken whatever stuff I put in it without any questions or problems, and just ran like a champ the whole time. Hard drive spins really well too, and I mean, I'm assuming it's going to fail at some point. And it doesn't get that many run hours on it. I've kind of switched over to a different Pentium era machine. But I like to use the machine more, and it's so easy to work with. What? Uh-oh. That's a bad floppy. Might be. Yep. It was a bad copy, so we'll start by extracting this guy here. Let's see. Do you agree? Yes, I do. Not sure if we need disk 2 or not. We'll see. That is a lot of memory. I'm trying to think of what you would use that for. Maybe, I mean, if you're doing workstation stuff or CAD stuff back in the day or something, then 192 might be an option, but that's a lot of memory. I don't think you would generally need that. Okay, so we found, okay, it has found some other components here, but the PCI Ethernet controller, we're going to update it and point it to that location. Nope, I want to select from a list. Oops, I forgot about that. It's different in Windows 95. It's funny. as you're using newer machines and hopping to older machines, how many things you take for granted in Windows. You know, the core design of Windows, especially between 95, 98 ME and, 2000 XP and everything, how similar it was. That, let's see, original driver. There we go. Where's the have disk? Let's see, I don't want to search for it. No, select from a list. Other locations. There we go. All right. Going to browse to C, drivers, network. Let's check here. Floppy disks are a little harder to find these days. I think it's pretty much just, I don't want to search for it. My goodness. Am I that out of shape on Windows 95 that it's not letting me pick the exact file? Oops. Or did it create a subfolder? Right? No. Yeah. Yeah, new old stock is hard. This is a Pentium 1 200 megahertz, so let's see. I don't have a scroll wheel on this mouse, so I'm feeling a little handicapped here now, but it's alright. Broad driver support. Release notes. Connecting two PCs. I'm not interested in that. I'm actually blanking here on the Windows 95 driver installation. I thought you could actually just point it somewhere, right? Am I that out of touch on that? Driver, update driver. No, select from a list. Huh. There's no like have disk. Why am I so Yeah, someone will have to remind me on the Windows 95, because 98 you can absolutely pick exact location. I'm not looking to do a search. I'm looking to pick the driver. I don't want to search. Let's see what a README says. If there's anything on the installation here. Yep, that's his P1 MMX processor. Here we go. Obtain latest driver. User got a PDF for instructions. Great. Oh, we can run the... Is this the actual installation information or the data here? Because it has all the hardware information, but I'm just flabbergasted. I just don't remember. Yeah, Phil's lab has got a ton of stuff on there. Fortunately, that's a great resource in general. This might just be the DOS driver, so let's try and I'll have to check that other disk out again. So let's switch back over to our. This machine probably could handle XP, but it's like a Pentium 1 200 megahertz. So, I mean, yes, it could probably run it, but that's pretty much borderline on what it could do. I think memory is one thing, but let's switch over to our Windows 98 machine. Alright, let's take a look again here, because that floppy did not copy. We have one working floppy disk here. We're going to have to rely on that guy again here. that was disk 2. Okay, so that's right. I moved it over here. That was disk 2. That did not work. This thing with these old whole floppies, right? They can fail, and they do, because they're old. A lot of them aren't very high quality either. It's hard to find old stock of good quality floppies. So let's see. We need to go back here. Let's see, drivers, network. Become driver disk. Delete this off. I will have to use the trusty one again, so. Yeah, that would be challenging for a 200 megahertz machine to run. So XP, of course, is happier on newer. I can't remember what the minimum spec is, but actually, well, I thought I had a Windows XP box, but I don't think I do. Oh well. All right, let's try swapping again here. I remember back in the day, my first computer was a 486 with Windows 3.11 and DOS, and then I got a second computer, my AST, with Windows 95 on it, and I thought, like, well, I should be able to copy Windows 95 over, right? So I actually sat there and copied every file from the Windows 95 directory flat on my machine and put it on my 486, and it obviously would not even boot. I thought I was being so cool. I spent like a whole afternoon doing that, but you know, that's how you live and learn, right? So, all right, we're going to create a new folder called Disk 1. And I'm going to put everything in there except that guy. Disk 2. And then we will see if it copies this time. Let's see. Yeah, that's the thing. I have a, let's see, up here. The company I worked at the time used floppies a lot, and they had this unopened box. But again, this is just, you know, your generic, it's not like a name brand copy or floppy even, it's just CompuAccessory, random 100 formatted floppies, right? The nicest thing was just that there's so many. So I've had a near dramatic failure rate on these. So I just like go through them and just throw away the ones that don't work right. So, but these have never been used. The ones that are in here now have never been touched really. I might have used them, put them back, but most of them have never been used. So I at least have this stash. So when they inevitably fail, I can just keep going through and throwing away. But in this case here, we had one working. I just gotta have to reuse it, so we don't sit and test floppies all night. Alright, let's take a look down at disk 2. So we'll extract this here. Yes. There we go. That actually has install. So that's kind of what we need. So we'll do install. I guess it switches to DOS here. There we go. Driver installation and update. We do not need the Novell network drivers. However, we do need the Windows driver installation. Protected and real mode drivers. This is what we're looking for. There's doing something. Okay, there we go. Describe how to install. Update network drivers and Nick software. Use default driver. Use an EtherCD. If you install DIC from EtherCD. If you're using installation diskettes created, use the installation diskettes. Oh my goodness. Install NIC driver. Okay, we did that. They want you to do this before you install the NIC. Like, whoops, a little late for that. Okay, that's a lot of steps. Can I leave this now? Okay, so it's actually just telling me how to do that and not actually doing it for me. So, okay. So, we will go ahead and exit out of this, I guess. Installation tips. It's the same thing. Yep. Okay then. Never mind. That was just a text file or help file basically. But now if we go here, can I run installation? No. Where's the actual driver? But we'll try this again here now. Device manager. Unsupported device. That's my bad. I really don't want to have to crack this machine. Okay, let's see. I wanted to search for other locations. We'll try the disk 2. There's nothing in there. Where's the actual drivers here? I can hear you, cat. I can hear you, cat, I promise. I have to go through the help file again. Goodness. I remember these drivers were easier to install than this mess here now. I just have the wrong ones. Starters, I'd like to get the original driver back. Might just do this, remove it, and then reboot it, and then we'll see what happens. I should be able to point it to where it needs to go. Ta-da! That is a lot of money for floppies. But that's the thing, is like, you know, they're not. I mean, I think that a lot of the floppy emulators have taken over that because, you know, the place that they might still use it is like industrial machines, and they now have, you know, floppy emulators, and they have things to plug directly into the IDE slot and things like that. But that's where we find a lot of old machines. There we go, PC Ethernet controller. Next. Just looking for it. And did it literally just error out on me there? Did I manage to click the button before it was done? I sure did. Ah. Wow, it just... Windows 95 killing me. Other locations, there we go. There we go, found it. Huzzah! Finish. It is in that directory. Let's try it. Yeah, okay, let's see browse. Okay. It's funny to me. I found this a lot of times when you're doing installation like this. It's like, hey, where's that thing you literally showed me 2 seconds ago? Where is it? But what is it looking for? The sys file. Is it on disk 2? Really? It doesn't even have the file it needs for itself? On the CD. Boy, I thought I was, I had it there, but close but not quite. Can we search for this? I also don't even remember how to search in Windows 95. See, that's the thing. It's so close to what you use normally, but then it's just off enough, right? haven't used Windows 95 on a serious level for a long time. But it's a little odd that it's looking for the driver CD. Let me search for that quick. Let's see what it's looking for. I'm not sure where it's looking for that guy. Take a look in system drivers. So Canada is there because I'm literally trying to install it right now. See, we're so close, and now I think it's looking for the CD for this. This is really weird, because I certainly remember installing this driver without this hoops. You think it would be on here somewhere. Nope. It's just like the real reloaded machine. You're having to deal with all this stuff here. And this is a pretty common network card as well. There's nothing spectacular or exciting. Just a standard 3-com. But sure is not finding that. Let's see. Let's see. Supposed to be easy. And Windows 95 is plug and play. See, it was supposed to be super easy and it's not. What happened to this new world computing? Yeah, I looked there and actually it wasn't, so I think it's like probably missing, but I actually looked in the Windows system already. I can take another look, but there's no actual drivers folder there, so that's not helpful. Yeah, plug and pray is a pretty accurate description there. What also might be that, is it hiding show all files? There's actually no drivers folder yet, interesting enough. I wonder if it's on, kind of doubt it, but drivers. Netlan? Look at all this stuff here. Yeah, with all these short names, I wonder which one it is. Nope. It may not be on here. Oh, it's got to be something. I have to abandon network path or option in that case, and that's weird because I installed a network driver recently. Yeah, that's the thing with drivers. It was always just like this back and forth and fun. And let's see, source files Windows 95. So it's looking for the Windows 95. Okay, so maybe it's just looking for the CD drive then. Source and the source disk. Windows 95/EL. That seems weird. It would just be on the root there. Yeah, well, is there a, see, now I'm just like, having to remember here. Because I don't think there's a Windows search directly in here. It's been so long since I used Windows 95. Yeah, you keep having to tell it over and over and over. That's pretty classic, so. Find files or folders. There we go. I don't suppose I can copy that. Nope. EL90xbc3.sys. That's why I usually copy the OS installation stuff. Nope. Nada. So that's convenient. We have to find a new 3.com installation. It's going to be this complicated. You could probably skip the file. Nope. It's basically trying to... Okay, so it's actually pointing to that directory. I kind of doubt it's on there, but we can take a look. It's trying to copy it into it. It probably never had it, right? So IO subsystem. Yeah, it's not in here. So that's where it's trying to copy the the files into it. But it's odd that the drivers basically is not even there. Like I think this is probably coming or expecting a CD, but I've used these driver installations before too. So let's switch over to the other machine and take a look at this as well. Yeah, it's true. It could be. Yeah, this is OSR2. The last 2.5 actually, so it should be the latest really. So that's the thing. It may not be in the in that file. So maybe this particular Windows 95 installation doesn't have it. I don't think I have another CD for that. Let's see. Yeah, this is just like fun times. We can also take a look at the installation floppies on the Windows 95 floppy here, but I think that would just take too long to search through. So I wonder if there's something specific we can find to correct that, or find a probably more likely a larger driver package that has it. That's true. That's a very good point. Maybe I'm just dumb. Yeah, and that's where it's targeting. Because I think that's just what it pre-filled it, right? So those were the only two it had. Because that was just default into the installation directory from the machine itself, right? So I can't even get to my Explorer right now. There we go. So clearly not in the driver disks here, so it's actually looking for something in the Windows 95, which is really odd. I don't suppose it will be in here. There. This could be in the cabs, right? I don't have a cab extractor. You think that it would be able to find that. This is really weird, I have to say. I don't think there's a way to simply add drivers either. Well, we know that. We don't have to search for it, but... yeah. It's a good time. So I have to cancel out of this here. Yeah, that's not gonna play very nice there. This is pretty funny. It found it and everything, but it's got to be looking for something on the driver or the Windows 95 installation CD that's not on there. which makes it very odd. Pretty sure it's a B, yeah. I wrote it down exactly. Now I gotta switch with the other machine and take a look, but yeah, it's a, pretty sure it's a B card I was looking at there. Exactly this is what it found, which is correct. I'm pretty sure. But then I think we're missing like Windows 95 basically core components that it needs to work. I have a very loud cat. Bummer. I wanted to use the network card to copy all the files off and everything from the NAS. But at this point, I think I'm gonna have to find another. Yeah, maybe. I have to find a Windows 98 CD first, because yeah, it's a little messy here. I wonder if this is a Windows 98 CD. Who knows? Let me take a look. It might almost be worth it for giggles, but. This is pretty funny, but also kind of indicative of how you used to reload machines back in the day, right? There's always just some weird thing that broke or didn't work, or that's true. Maybe I do have to install Windows networking components. I can try it. I think I already did. Yeah, network. It's already installed. TCP/IP is installed and everything, and it's configured. But of course, there's no driver for the network card, so it can't really do much with it. What I'm learning the hard way now is that I really need to label my Windows 98 boot CDs, or the actual CDs. So Windows 8 disk. I don't think that's relevant. However, I have a Windows 95 installation CD here. An actual original Windows 95 CD, which may have been used for this very computer back in the day. Let's take a look at that. Maybe that holds the source of truth. We'll see. Worth a try. It's all part of this experience. So thank you for patience and sharing it with me. So hopefully it's fun to just feel through the pain of how it was back in the day, right? That is a Windows 98 CD. That is not, unless I tried to, yeah, it's Windows 95 here. I think I probably just tried to boot it. Yeah, that's the thing. It always was that. It just always took the whole night. But I don't think I see any of the files needed there. We can try it, but kinda doubt it. I don't even know what the driver is. It just has to find a... Thanks. Cat is knocking stuff over. It's like, well, fine. If you aren't going to pay attention to me, I'm going to take the shot here. Yeah, I don't think it's looking for the actual like driver CD for the 3Com, I think, almost, because this is the another installation CD for Windows 95 that I happen to have. That's the strangest thing. So yeah, I assume it's the Ether CD, whatever. Let's take a look at the README again on that guy, because there was something that if you used the let's cancel out all this. Let's regroup here for a second. While my cat is just, hello, would you like some attention? I knocked over the box. That's not cool, cat. Let's take a look again at the installation here. Because it said something about using the installation disks, so Windows versus the CD. 32-bit driver version of Windows Notify uses as the default driver. Do not have a built-in driver for Etherlink NICs. You must install the latest driver using the Ether CD or Ether disk installation diskettes that came with the NIC. And we did it. So the Ether CD may be the problem. We're trying to use that. So there was a separate one for the installation disks. Double-click Add New Hardware. Click Have Disk and insert the Ether disk diskette 1. Go to step 3 when prompted for Ether disk diskette 2. So maybe I actually need to create 2 disks for this. Insert Ether disk diskette 1 and then click OK. If the update one starts, insert Ether disk diskette 1. Yeah, that should be it then. So, anything different with this guy? No, it's internet. We don't need that. So, let's see. Maybe we actually need to copy all that information to the floppies. If we're going to be that particular, it doesn't like us think it's trying to install it from the CD or something. So that's disk 2. Let's go to disk 1. I think that floppy's still in there. No, it is not. Now we actually have to find working floppies. So this is the one good we have. So we just need to find another one that's good as well, hopefully. So we're going to delete that. Copy all this over. See if it's understanding. That sounds lovely. Slice of cake is always better when you have coffee there, or vice versa. So I like to think that these will be self-sustained or self-sufficient, unless it's actually looking for a file. I think it's in there. Yeah. This one of these is what it's looking for. It's just called SY instead of sys. It's lying. This is the director we're looking for. Alright, we'll figure this out. Now it's like a thing, right? This computer will not best me. Had to watch me ramble to a computer for a few hours. Yep, it is. Windows 95, right? That's the thing, too, is like you're kind of hopping through extra hoops just to have that experience compared to, yeah. That's really weird, though. I wonder. Let's try just this. I'm sneaky here. So it's looking for the bc3.sys. So it really should be that directory. It should be here. Sometimes, tell you what, bang, zoom, I'm gonna put you in a box and use another computer, alright? Anyway, you didn't see that 45-minute sidestep, okay? You didn't see anything, and this is not recorded and will be on the internet forever. Obviously not. What I failed to do was actually point it to the actual directory that had the floppy in it. So now it needs disk 18, but we're going to not do that. We're going to do D and then see if it lets us do that. Otherwise, I happen to have disk 18 Windows 95, so yeah. that was that. So I don't know in what step there, if I pointed to the disk or floppy disk, not floppy disk, but the disk folder 2 for that or not by mistake or something, and then just like kept going down a rabbit hole, right? Sometimes you kind of got to stop for a second and think, and that's what I did, and found my mistake, and now we actually have another card driver. So I'm sure we need to reboot for that to play nice. Do not need the floppy. Let's do a reboot on this guy. Ta-da! We'll get into Windows 95 and actually get the Matrox drivers, the Voodoo 2 drivers, things like that. So just get it rolling. I kind of just want to do like a real quick gaming test to prove that it works. It's gotten so late now. I probably don't want to get into the configuring all the DOS stuff. Well, maybe if I'm feeling the groove. Otherwise, I'll just hop to the next thing. So, yeah. Yeah, Windows 98 is, like Full Fresh mentioned there, you've done a lot of installations. Windows 98 just kind of streamlined a lot of that kind of stuff, you know. Windows 95 really, you can really feel its age now when you're messing with it. Because again, you're clicking buttons, you know sort of where things are. Yeah, sure. I'll want to see future DHCP messages. But that's a good sign. Let that chime finish. Because that means it's trying to get an IP address. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to crawl behind again. And I'm going to switch the network cable. Again, I'm getting a new switch soon, so stand by. Physical hardware change in progress. Okay. Yes, Windows is a turkey. Alright. There's no IP config, so kind of bet we don't even have a IP address yet. Let's see, we probably don't have an IP address, but I don't remember how to... This is a lot of fun with Windows 95, right? So network adapter is there. I don't think we can see what IP we have right now, so... Yeah, that's pretty much it for Windows 95 there. I'm just going to actually reboot it again, because it's Windows 95. And we'll see it pulls an IP address on the fly there. It's a little weird. I could have sworn like ipconfig and those things were available in 95 as well. But I might be missing some component as well. Who knows? I said it's a brand new load, right? Who knows what's actually in there or not. This thing you take for granted Windows 98 and XP and things like that. Everything's pre-installed for you. Not everything, but a lot more stuff is. Windows 95 is really basic in that sense. That's the one. Thank you. I couldn't remember. We'll give that a try. But I didn't get a DHCP error now, so hopefully we actually have an IP address. So, when that's the one. Look at that. We have an address. Yeah, I don't remember that program at all here. So thank you for that heads up. See, that's a back and forth. Hostname Vectra. So now. Look at that. I'm now browsing, if it will pull up, to my network share. Yep, there we go. Now I can copy stuff over like I was supposed to do like an hour ago. It's part experience. Oops, not games yet. We'll get there later. Yeah, it is really harsh error sound. So let's see. We need a video driver. So Matrox, we'll get that. We'll just copy that whole directory. That's so convenient now because now I have a network connection. I don't have to do any floppies anymore. So here's the Matrox drivers for Windows 95. I'll do custom. Sure. We have a lot of space. Sometimes I think it's fun to have like kind of the bloatware on computers. We don't need to launch it at startup, however. Really? We can use default. I don't know why you would have installed that, but I find it interesting on Windows 98 machines especially to do... Okay, of course it has to restart because Windows 95, everything needs a restart. That thing got a lot better later on. Where is it going with that? It was just totally lost my train of thought. So the sound card, yes, this is a Soundmaster AW64. Actually, one that I bought myself. I think it's the value edition, but I bought that myself when it came out. So that's my original card that I had when I was young. This machine used to house a 4 megabyte Orchid Voodoo 1 card as well. Same card that I had as a kid. But that is migrated to a not quite as fast. Oh, look at that. We get better colors now. Has migrated to another machine, a P1-166. And I just happen to have a Voodoo 2 card, so this replaced that in there. May not necessarily have a permanent home, but before I reloaded this, I ran like GL Quick and stuff. It ran it great. So... Alright, so now we got that. So let's see what else we're missing now. The Voodoo card for sure. Yep, the Matrix Mystique. That's the onboard, I think. So we will disable that here. I don't need that. And then, yeah, the Soundlash AW64 is missing. So I think I have drivers for that. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to copy this guy to here. Yeah, the value PNP version of AW64. Again, I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of cards that may have better sound fonts and better effects, and they might be. I mean, there's a lot of sound cards out there, but for compatibility and broad range of use, an ISA AW64 of some variety, gold, value, PNP, seems to me to be the sweet spot. They're pretty cheap. You can get them from $15 to $25 most of the time on eBay. One that I have in the machine I found on like Amazon for like $27 or something like that, and it fully works. It really once again hits that sweet spot because it's compatible with so many things. That is right. Windows and DOS drivers don't always play nice together. This I believe will install the DOS basic driver by itself. However, which will mostly be used for when you open a DOS window, or I should say, what they call it MS-DOS window, which isn't true DOS then, right? So it emulates the Soundmaster 16. When you do the full, you can actually do a full boot into DOS and then have a full separate drivers, and then you can get them to run better. I do use False Computer Labs boot menu, which is really useful to be able to have a shortcut on the desktop to just slap into normal DOS. Just by clicking it and then rebooting it, and you're in DOS, and then you can install your drivers and everything. So I've used that to great effect. So, boy, this is a big installation. That has all the bloatware, I think. That's right, we don't have DirectX as well. I need to look and see what the highest supported version of DirectX is on Windows 95. I know 9C is supported in Windows 98, but I don't remember for Windows 95. Looks like it's 8 maybe. I found a very handy table that's actually really useful. I'll actually post the link to it. It's a nice table that shows exactly what version of DirectX you can use. It looks like 8 or 8A, which I'm pretty sure I put on the NAS as well, will be our target then. Yeah, 9C is what I usually use on... yeah, you're right then. 9C is the one I usually use on Windows 98, so... Boy, yeah, that was a big one there. I think I put... Nope. DirectX. Look at that. Version 8A. What a coincidence. Very nice. Yeah, I found a Voodoo Banshee recently. I've never played with a Rush. I found a Voodoo Banshee recently, or so it was given to me. It's almost going out the Death Store, basically. Found it, and I'll be a new video coming soon, making a Voodoo Banshee base machine. And the intent with that machine isn't necessarily to like, what's the most powerful machine? It was more like, what extra parts do I have to make a AGP based Voodoo Banshee machine that can run Windows 98 games. Oh no, he broke it. Well, that's too bad. So it's a bummer when you, I mean, I've done it myself. You're doing something and it breaks original hardware. Like, and that's the only one I had, or you know, they're expensive to get. It's, man, it hits you right in the feels. It's funny because I actually have that now, a joystick. It's sitting up here somewhere. It's like Wingman Extreme Logitech. That was one of my first joysticks I had as a kid for my Windows 95 computer. And uses a plastic core in the middle. And you probably see where this is going already. If it has a plastic core instead of a metal stem or core, I was calibrating and I was holding it so hard to get it up into the corner to calibrate that I snapped the plastic. And I was just like, I just looked at it in disbelief, like, oh no. And that was it, you know. I didn't have that. Obviously, I had to throw it away. I tried to glue it, but it was not strong enough. But it's that feeling when you break something. It's, especially now when it's getting harder and harder to find this retro stuff. You know, you break a modern component, you go to Best Buy or Amazon more likely, and just that's it. But let's see if I can, if it's going to be nice enough to let me copy two at the same time. Or multitasking. I mean, you're still limited by bandwidth on the network card and what the NAS is allowing us to do, right? That's right, I can't touch the window. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have bought more Voodoo cards. I feel like if I would have gotten back into retro PC stuff sooner, I would have more expensive stuff as well, or cooler stuff, because, yeah, boy, the retro prices drive up, especially Voodoo cards. They're through the roof. I actually have, if you have watched my other videos, my first video I did, and this is almost 2 years ago, and I built a Voodoo 3 base machine because I got a Voodoo 3 card from a coworker. I bought it from him. I never used a Voodoo 3 card before. It kind of just hopped that generation. I didn't have any Voodoo card. So this is a Voodoo 3 3000 PCI card. So this is probably the more desirable card. And it's like, I got it for cheap, but it's like, it's not worth that much. But it's just the retro craze has driven the price up on this type of card. It's a cool card, but people are like, I gotta have a Voodoo 3. It's stupid expensive. And it's like, it just makes me angry because it's all being driven up, you know, prices on this stuff. And, you know, you get people donating. That's mostly how I find stuff. I can't bring myself spending that money on it, you know. Alright, we'll install DirectX first, because I have a feeling the... Now this is a great installation box. Install? Close. Which one? Huh? Install. Sounds like a better option. Like, I can't bring myself spending hundreds of dollars on retro equipment, especially when often you can get it for free. Yeah, I actually have, if I move, you know what sits right here? That is a shuttle system that I had when I was younger. Right there. A window, or it's a shuttle XP or whatever, and it has Windows 98 on it. And it actually has a Radeon 9700 Pro right in it. And it creates quite a powerful little cube of a machine. You can carry that around, and it's got like an Athlon 2600 in it. It's quite a capable Windows 98 machine. Now, it was intended for XP, and it can certainly do a lot of XP stuff. Right now, it's got a 9700 Pro in it. So, again, something I found or someone gave to me or something like that. So, yeah. You're right. A lot of them will be thrown away, and it happens all the time. Especially, I mean, many of you may be CRT, not fanatics, but they like CRT. Oh, I need to install DCOM. Yep, I already have that as well. Boom. Okay, well, I don't get an option. I do have the DCOM for Windows 95 as well. We'll install that next here. Boy, there's a lot of stuff with a brand new computer, especially an old one like this. But yeah, there's a lot of cards and you know, expensive components that get thrown out because they don't know what it's worth, and that's how you find all these scores on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace too, right? They just like, I just want to get rid of it. So I'm always keeping an eye out because you never know what people are getting rid of. But it feels for sure in the last few years the competition has increased for sure. You go to a Goodwill, for example, now, and you see people on their phones checking to see what it's worth on the fly, right? And that It's like it's just taken out of the enjoyment for people. But anywhere people can make a buck, that's where they're gonna do it. There, I don't want to interrupt the zen of hearing that startup sound. So, all right, let's see. Matrix Diagnostics. I do not need that. Old version of DirectX installed. I don't think you're right, because we have 8.0a, which is the newest you can have. So lay off. All right, let's see. We need the decom, which I recently had to deal with as well. This is probably in tools. Now I gotta remember where I put it. I think it's drivers and MISC. There we go. Decom 95. We will copy that to our drivers folder. Okay. Yes, it is okay. I bet we're gonna have to reboot after this. Oh wow, let me get 1200. Oh man, that's almost unobtainium these days. I have a Amiga 500, mostly because my neighbor had one when I was growing up. We played that a lot. But the 1200 feels like they've gone through the roof on price, just because, I mean, it's probably considered the best one, like right in the middle, right? So that's a nice find. Yeah, so 16 cards I think are really useful and compatible with so many different things, right? And that's the one thing I do not have is a Model M keyboard. I have never used one. That's, feels bad to say that. I would love one, but they have run up in price as well. I'm kicking myself badly. Hang on. A while back, this is a few years ago on Craigslist, I found someone was selling a Model M keyboard. And it was $40. And I'm like, all right. And I contacted the guy. Sounds great. And I just recently kind of spent a lot on just finding stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. So I canceled a deal. I'm like, you know how much I kick myself for canceling a deal and buying? It was a Model M and then some other membrane IBM keyboard for $40 total. And the Model M had like the dust cover and everything. I'm like, yeah. And now those have shot up in price like crazy. And I've yet to find one in the wild, and I can't bring myself to spend the probably over $100 now at this point to become like this archetype of classic mechanical keyboard. So I'm sure they're great, but I feel again that the price has just really run up. So now, where was I? That's right, we're going to install the drivers for the sound card. Which will do something, maybe. Holy moly, look at all those disks. Alright, we'll run this here now then. There we go. Yeah, that's an accurate description of the Windows startup sound there. Alright, there you go. Custom. You know what? For now, we're going to install the whole suite. The whole AW64. I remember that, the Wave. I remember seeing this picture in magazines when they were advertising it, so. Yeah, it did look like Doom 95, didn't it? Versus DCOM, right? So. Very nice, yeah. I mean, it seems like they were just... The Model M was just a standard keyboard back then, right? It wasn't like this golden, unobtainium, magical thing it is today. It was just another keyboard. So yeah, that's one I really wish I did have, and I'm hoping I'm going to find it one day. Because again, I can't bring myself to spending that kind of money on retro stuff, unless it's like the magical thing. The one thing I'm still missing is a compact 486 all-in-one Presario CDS machine. That was like my first real computer, besides the 286 my dad had let me use. So that's probably the one I pay a lot of money for, but beyond that, I just can't bring myself to spend a ton. So, alright. Thanks for stopping by, Full Fresh. I appreciate hanging out. So, we got further. The machine is, functional-ish. So, see you next time. It's funny too, spending, Yep, we'll do that. Gee, I wonder why I have to restart. It's Windows 95, that's why. Boy, it's really... I'm sure if you could catch that, but it really was checking if there was a floppy in there or not. With these old machines, you'd reload them, right? And I feel it's been better with Windows 98 and everything that, you didn't have to reboot as much, or it was quicker to get a machine up and running. I feel that when you reload a Windows 98 machine, which I do pretty often as well, which is why this is a little foreign then, and that's why I'm running into some issues. Reloading a Windows 98 machine feels like it's generally just quicker and smoother. This shows how Windows 98 or 95 is showing its age, right? It takes a longer to get going. Oh. I don't know, we broke the Sound Blaster sound here now. It's probably the drivers are half installed. Let's see if sound, yep, it's installed. Didn't hear the startup sound though. That's weird. Oh, it probably replaced it because it's trying to be dumb. EW control. Look at that. Can load sound fonts. There's a cat. Yeah, I could have seen it kept the keyboard, yeah. Seems like everyone who used the Model M's or anything like that back in the day, they did love it and just kept it, so. So I think that I have the Voodoo 2 creative drivers. There we go. Copy that as well. I really enjoy when I realized I could get the retro network up and running. And I'm fortunate that the house I live in, the phone wiring was Cat 5e. So I could put in my basic furnace room, I could put a router and then change all the phone connections to Cat 5e connections, and then bam, I have network over half the house. So that was really convenient. There we go. Finished, extracted, and set up the Voodoo card. So there's the Voodoo 2 in line already. So sadly the Voodoo 2 doesn't use the same relay that the Voodoo 1 does, so you don't get that click click when it switches. That's fine. Oh look, a restart. I heard a sound. This is much quieter. I have really crummy like beige-like speakers plugged in there. I'll pan the camera so you can see it there, but they're yellow and they're awful and nasty and they just crackle, but they're all part of the experience. I think we're getting closer. I'm hoping to finish this off here now we have the sound card installed, we got the Voodoo 2 card installed, so I think I should be able to copy like GL Quake or something and just run it, play just a little bit, and then we'll call the machine a success for now. Next step will be getting all the DOS stuff configured, but I'll probably have to make that another stream so it doesn't run too late. Yeah, it's interesting that I think it probably can't detect. I'm guessing the software isn't. There we go. That it doesn't know that DirectX 8A exists. Is what I'm guessing there. It's saying it's not installed, but I'm pretty sure it is. But that was, yeah, I did replace the startup sound. That's not right. That's not right at all. We gotta move that back. Sounds, because that's this normal one. Start Windows. My goodness, what is the? I don't know what the original startup sound is. Oh no. It's all these extras. It's the ta-da, isn't it? Whoop, no, ta-da is the shutdown. Quick, does anyone remember the original Windows 95 startup sound? The Microsoft sound. Yes, there it is. We gotta have that. The AW64 has its own because they're trying to say, like, look at your awesome sound card now. But nope, that won't do. We need to have the right one. Now I think we should have all components installed. So if we take a quick glance here, our CD-ROM, of course, so doesn't matter. Disk drive, we got our Matrix Mystique. This is the integrated video card that is on the motherboard, so that's disabled. We don't need that. I think we can actually do this, and it wouldn't even show up. We'll leave that to later. Oh, really? That's true. You're not wrong, because I was playing GL Quake, testing this machine before I reloaded it a little bit just to make sure everything was working, and it's very dark on the capture, so we'll see how it shows up. Hard disk controller, keyboard standard, it's fine. Monitor plug and play, doesn't matter. I'm using a CRT here, it's a Dell E772P. It's going to be kind of hard to see here, but look at that. I am actually doing this on an actual CRT. I'm just capturing it so you can see it properly, but the camera was actually pretty good about not picking up the problem with the rolling screen. Standard mouse, we got a network adapter, we got our ports, that's good. All our sound devices are configured and working, and we have system device. So let's take a look at on here. I have a lot of games on here, and I think, do I have GL Quake on here? I don't. That's too bad. I should have copied that over. We can do a test on the Voodoo card because it actually installs this little thing. Look at that. See, creative there. A lot of settings here. I think I had to disable Voodoo to direct 3D support for some things that weren't working. So, all right. So, what game do we have on here that will work well on Windows 95? We have Duke Nukem 3D. So, but I think that's an installation that's not going to work. There's always Doom 2. That's a classic. That just works straight up. So we can try that for starters. Make sure that works. Of course, this machine is capable of a lot more than that. I do have a lot of original games as well. There we go. Yeah, CRTs are getting a little harder. I'm lucky that my job was recently clearing out a lot of old stuff, AV equipment and stuff like that, so they had a couple CRTs, so I took them. But I've started, like, not necessarily hoarding CRTs, but just when I come across a good one, I kind of take it, because they're getting harder and harder to find, because either, yeah, they're recycled or thrown out for a long time ago. You know, no one wants to hold on to those things, so. Select music card. Sound Blaster AW32. Sound effects card. Sound Blaster 220. We'll keep the same one here and test it. Because you can actually check the resources assigned here. We may have to run with Sound Blaster 16 support here. Resources 5.1. Yeah. So let's go through that again. Sound Blaster 220. Sound Blaster 225.1. There we go. Run Doom. Hopefully the sound isn't too high or is actually going to go out of sync. Oh, it just crashed on me. Yep, sure did. That was a great first run there. I'm guessing it doesn't like running the Doom. Oh, I can hear it. That's funny. That's hilarious. Actually, I haven't had any problems with this kind of thing happening before on the signal there. Yeah, I can control it, but I can't see it. Reduce this control delete. That's pretty funny. That must mean that the bypass is having a problem or something, but because yeah, I did all this before I kicked this machine off, no problem. So let's see what we can try as a Windows 95 actual native game before we go later here. Let's see, that's a CCD. I have to install more stuff to get ISO images to work. Warcraft 2 is more of a CD thing. I have a lot of Windows 95 games, so 1 second. Let's see. Let's just take a look at my big box games. So, and yeah, CRTs take a lot of space, and flat panels have gotten a lot better. But it is pretty nice to have. Oh, that's still running. It's something about the true experience. That's weird. Maybe if I run. It's just so weird because that was working just fine. I'll run Doom 2 from here. Still dies? Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. I'll have to take a look at that because that ran just fine when I did it last time, so we'll find a Windows 95 game here that actually is native. I just gotta think of what original Windows 95 games we're playing, so. Alright, there we go. We found an actual original Windows 95 game. So we'll install Diablo, give it a real quick test run to make sure it works, and then we'll probably call it there. Yeah, Windows 95 ends up having a lot more little quirks, you know. That's true, I do have SimCity as well. SimCity 2000 I think would run really well on this machine as well, which I do have as well. I carry a large collection of big box games there. There we go. That probably gets some memories going. Dell Pro monitors, you mean, or look at that! I just boot her right up. Put the fake scan lines on there because they are stretching resolution and everything. Just let me know if the sound is too loud or anything there. But again, this machine is pretty quick, so it's a Pentium 1200, right? So it's pretty capable. So it's got to iron out all the wiggle sort of problems with them, but clearly the computer runs just fine. Well, I shouldn't just fine. Clearly there were some challenges that we'll have to deal with and go through, but beyond that, this is what I did. You know, I played Diablo, no pun intended, to hell and back, when I bought it for my Windows 95 AST 100 megahertz machine. Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. Sure, we're the demons. Kill one demon, we'll call it good. We confirm the game works. Gotta run all the way to the cathedral here, but it's a very nostalgic sensation for me, especially this game, because this kind of signifies the Windows 95 era for me. Played a lot of different games, but this one I spent a lot of time on. It was a good era, you know. Playing the DOS and Windows 95 early games. It's a really golden era to me, like, especially, I mean, 95 and 98, but if you go from that 1994 to 1999 era, it's like there were so many good games that came out during that time. Let's keep whiffing on there. Alright, we killed one demon. Gotcha, yeah. That's not a bad idea. What I would like to get is, and I was looking for them, is, so I have a lot of older machines that only want the 15 kilohertz signal, and that's a problem with modern LCD panels because they only like the 30 kilohertz signal. 15 was used by Commodore 64, Amigas, you know, a lot of those older machines and the Ataris from that era. So modern panels don't like that, and there are very few that do. I have some of the NEC AccuSyncs, some of the multi-sync ones, they do support that. But there are several Dell panels. I think they're 2005 FP, 2007 FP, 2001 FP. And they were the ones with the TV tuner in it and stuff like that, or they had S video input, and they actually supported that signal. So that's what I'm looking out for, is the Dells because they also have a high resolution versus the they have the 1600 by 1200 resolution support, so they are the equivalent of 19-inch CRT panel. Like I have or CRT panel, I have a Dell Trinitron, which is just a Sony rebranded to Dell, 19-inch CRT behind me here, and it weighs like 45 pounds, but it's a really good picture, used for video editing and CAD work. But that has a 1600 by 1200 resolution, so it's really nice quality on it. But there is a type of flat panel that has that same resolution. So those are well worth it to find, but they are hard to find because I mean people throw them out. They don't know what they are or worth. So if you can find them, I always check for like how they look on the back. Because they have the S video input, a silver Dell that has the S video input is likely to be a very good all-round monitor. I know they've been used a lot for the arcade 1Up machines to replace the screen on those. So, yep, that's right. You just spent all night playing, right? So, but I think I'm gonna call it there. We've gotten this machine to a stable Windows 95 capacity now, so Windows 95 games obviously work just fine on it. I'm not gonna test everything, but I might do another live stream on this machine as we do the DOS configuration and everything. I also want to figure out what the Voodoo thing isn't working, but I don't want to have a stream run for hours and hours and hours. People have to go on, so yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So 20-inch Dell flat panel, 1600 by 1200. Those are, especially if you got the ones with had S video and everything, they support the 15 kilohertz signal. So some of them do, some of them don't. The older ones do. And then you can literally just plug in an Amiga with just the Amiga 500 uses the DB, 23, like a unique connector to VGA, and boom, you got a signal. You don't have to use any scan doublers or anything like that. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So behind me here, I have what I used originally with this shuttle, which is just a 17-inch LG. I'm hoping to get a proper or larger 1600 by 1200 flat panel, because that computer is way overpowered for Windows 98, so it can run games at a higher resolution. So, but anyway, it was really fun having you guys here and chatting with me. It's frustratingly went through Windows 95, and especially the network card driver junk. It's fun to get it all figured out and get the machine up and running. So I'll probably do another stream at some point where we finish out all the wiggles of this machine. And get the DOS figured out correctly on it, so we can boot into DOS much easier and run DOS games on it, because this will be a very capable DOS machine with the Sound Blaster AW64 ISA card, and then full Voodoo support and everything too. Not that much in DOS, but in Windows 95 obviously. But something was up there with the Doom thing, so I'll have to figure that out too. That's weird. I should be able to run that, so I'm wondering if something with the bypass is having a problem, or just that it doesn't like the DOS thing. So anyway, thanks a lot, everyone, for hanging out. I'm going to call it there, and I will see you next time. Take care.